I finally figured out how to like press the correct buttons, you know. My volume's good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I'm gonna mute that. Okay. So we'll just let people filter in. People are starting to say hello. Hi, everyone.
Hey, guys.
So tonight, I didn't know it was going to turn into a live stream apocalypse. So for me, this was like a spur of the moment thing because I'm here in Sacramento all by my lonesome. And I was like, I can't go to home to an apartment by myself. And, you know, I was just like, I need to talk to fish people. And I was like, yes, Jackie. We've been meaning to do this one for a while. So tonight we're going to be talking about some hard times that we've been experiencing in the fish room. And we invite all of you to kind of just let it all out. So, Jackie, how are you tonight?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I was just sitting watching Dancing with the Stars or whatever was on TV when you messaged me.
Oh, man. Yeah. You know what my thing has been recently? It's been Kitchen Nightmares. I listen to that in the background, like Gordon Ramsay yelling at people. For some reason, it makes me work really well. Like, I think as he's like cussing people out, it helps me focus on what I'm working on. So I don't know why. So everyone is rolling in. Everyone, thank you for coming in. Sorry for I didn't know everyone was going to be live streaming tonight. That was crazy. Let's check in. Everyone's saying hello. Hello, everyone. We got Susan. We got Sam and the Fish Life, Flynn's, Kyle's Wild World. Who else do we have in here? We have Victor. We've got Zenzo, Dwayne. Let's see. My chat keeps scrolling around. We got KG Cichlids. Awesome. So Dwayne is asking, how's the job going? It's going well. It's just my eyes are crossed after like staring at I'm making my final poster right now. And putting together a scientific poster is always a feat. So everything's coming together. Oh my gosh, Lucas is here. Let's see. 3-hour power outage. $1 per gallon sale is going on. Hold off on tanks for the classroom. I don't even know what my classroom looks like, and I know I'm going to be moving after this year, so I don't want to have to move a bunch of fish tanks, but it will happen. I can't wait. Jackie, I'm thinking of like having different fish tanks in my room, like not just bettas, but possibly cichlids, because I'm surrounded by cichlids all day.
Oh gosh, don't do it. It's just a rabbit hole you'll never climb out of.
Oh, come on. Your flower horn is so adorable.
Which one? Oh, both of them?
Yeah. The new, what is it?
Oh, Hammer?
Yeah.
MC Hammer.
MC Hammer is adorable. Yeah, wow. We do have lots of cool people in here, Lucas. Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Aquarium Co-op, for sending people here. Sorry, I had to like I was like, oh, do I start? Do I not? But you know, we're all here now. So, my goodness, there's a lot of people here. Oh yeah, Jimmy's channel. What?
I said I'm gonna get stage fright.
Oh, don't get stage fright. We're just talking about fish, you know? So, oh my goodness. All right. So, good, bad, and the ugly when it comes to fish keeping. So things happen, things go really, really well, and then things go really, really wrong. So who wants to start? Do you want to start? Do you want me to start? We both had so much going on.
I know, my stuff's been going on since like March.
Yeah. Oh man,
I had velvet wiped through my fish room, and then I had, you know, some weird bacterial thing, and then I lost my cichlid, and
that was tough. I'm sorry. That was a tough one.
Yeah.
So, especially like the ones that you get really attached to is really tough. So, oh my gosh. Well, if yours, well, I guess we can just bounce back and forth. This is just like a hangout kind of deal, you know. No need to get all fancy. But yeah, I guess I can start. Yeah, those beautiful betta macrostoma. As I in the last live stream I did talk about it, but you know, this live stream is about talking about it and then moving on, like keep going, you know. So yeah, those beautiful betta macrostoma did die. I have not brought myself to actually touch the tank yet, so that's rough. I like netted out the 2 like live bettas I had in there that were with them. My 2 little dither fish, if you will, my 2 female bettas. But other than that, I haven't touched the tank. So it's just like sitting there. It's like the longest I haven't touched a tank. I don't know, like, Jackie, do you get that too? You like can't even.
Oh yeah, my spawn tanks, because I did a bunch of spawns and they all died off, and I've talked about that before, but I left them like for a whole month. I just now cleaned them out, and I found a couple of surviving fry, and they were like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I found another tank, but yeah, I totally like, sometimes it's just like you can't even look at the tank. You just have to leave it for a while.
Mm-hmm. And then for me, it's even harder because I'm only home on the weekends. So, oh yeah, someone asked if I'm in, if I left San Francisco permanently. No, I'm only here in Sacramento during the week. And then on the weekends, I go home. And so I have like this brief, like concentrated 48-hour window to do everything. And then whenever something tragic like that happens, it's like, oh God, I can't even, you know, it's just too much. I've been doing like, I hate to admit it, but you know, the nice thing about YouTube is you see that it happens to everyone and you're not alone, no matter how high you go, like something like that can bring you down. And, you know, I've just been doing the bare minimum in the fish room, really. I've been doing a lot more like on YouTube and then in the fish room at work and stuff like that. So, yeah. So like Teresa's just saying, she blew a breaker in her kitchen while at work. Didn't know how long it was off. Lost power to 4 tanks. The nano reef was not fine. Lost the neon goby. See, things like that, just everything, you know. So
yeah, freak accidents like that are the worst. I lost Susie, who's my red devil cichlid, just a heater malfunction. A good heater, not that old, but it just, the thermostat broke and it cooked her. And those are like the worst things. Like if a fish gets sick and dies, that's one thing. It's easier to deal with, but freak accidents are just the worst.
Mm-hmm. So what, and your audio is a little bit strange. I don't know if people are going to say it in the chat, but your audio is a little bit.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but maybe you bumped something.
I don't know. I don't know which microphone is working because I plugged everything in because we were having that before.
People are saying breaking up too. So maybe like swivel it in there a little bit or.
Does that sound better?
No.
No, I don't know what to do.
Unplug and plug again.
I'm afraid to break it. Does that sound better?
No.
No. Can you hear me now?
I can, yeah, but it's pretty broken up.
Fine.
So wait, hold on while you do that. Let's see. Let's look in the chat a little bit. Oh man. Hello, Luis. Thank you for coming. Mateo's asking, is there bettas with blue and yellow colors? And if so, do they breed true? I have seen them, but I know nothing about their genetics and whether they breed true. Blue and yellow would be a beautiful, beautiful high contrast, though. Yeah, Lucas, right? The joys of life. Yeah. Jackie, say something again. Ay, crap. Now I can't hear you at all. It's doing the same thing. Okay. Well, while that's going on, so Sarah is sharing, I woke up to a tank crash this morning, lost a bunch of my discus after them going great for 6 months. So devastating. Yeah, it's tough, especially with something sensitive like discus. I'm so sorry. Oh, that's awful, Sarah. It just, whenever things like that happen, it just comes out of the blue almost, you know? Okay, Jackie is still moving things around. No, can't. All right. So Jody is asking, doesn't it make it worse to leave the recently departed in the tank? Yes, I do not recommend it. You should take your fish out immediately, your, dead fish. But at that point, I had treated the fish so much with the last treatment I tried with them was acroflavin, which if you guys know what acroflavin is, it's a dye. And it stains everything. Acroflavin stains like crazy. And so the tank is filled with acroflavin, which is this bright neon yellow greenish color. And it will stain everything that it touches, your hands, your bucket, your tubes, everything. And so in order to reclaim the tank, I'm going to have to go back and like drain everything down, carefully get rid of all the acroflavin, pray that I don't trip on the way to the bathroom and like spill everything and stain acroflavin all over the floor. So it's like going to be a huge mess, and I'm going to have to redo the tank completely anyway. So Jackie, you got a thinking face. Nope, can't hear you. Okay. It was working earlier, folks. We had this all worked out, technological issues worked out. So if you bear with us, we'll just keep going. Here, we'll open up a chat on the side here. Okay. All right. So let's go back. Besides live brine shrimp, what other foods do you like best for bettas? Nick asks. I'm kind of lazy with live brine. I mean, live brine is really the best. To combat laziness, there are these flat trays. I wish Jackie was on here so we could. She's like making faces at me. I love it. So there are these flat trays you can get from Brine Shrimp Direct, and you can actually put eggs on the outside, and then there's a series of baffles. And what happens is that the eggs hatch in the outer rim, and then the live brine shrimp, whenever they hatch, they swim into the center. And then there's like a little cup out, and then you can just dip that straight into your tank. So, so Nick, that would be a great option if you only have a couple of spawns going. I find that if I have 2 going in the windowsill at the same time, then, I can just take it and then dip. And then it's the easiest thing in the world to set it up every time. You just take the dish, walk over to the sink, dump it, refill with fresh water, reset it. It takes less than 2 minutes. And then that hatchery can go on for, like 3 or 4 days just fine. And then if you stagger it with another one, it works really well. So, yeah. So live brine shrimp's the best. I'm sure other people can chime in as well. Jackie has a ton of live food options, and when she comes back, I love the faces. When she gets back online, she can talk about all those wonderful live food options. So actually, I'm going to make a note to make sure that Jackie returns to the live food for fry. But yeah, check it out. That hatchery dish is on Brine Shrimp Direct's website. So man, this is good. So Jennifer is saying, I lost the cycle in my 75-gallon. It took over 6 months to get the cycle going again, lost so many fish. Yeah, tank crashes, I really don't understand really tank crashes when they happen. That would be a really interesting thing to look into. Maybe we could ask, like Corey maybe would have something to talk about how tanks can be so good for so long and then crash like that. was in Ocean Aquarium, which is a store and does the natural setups. I was talking to him, and he said that one way that a tank crash can happen is if you disturb the substrate of an aquarium that hasn't had the substrate disturbed in a long time. And like, as I was standing there, he was releasing all of this like gas out of the gravel from this tank that he was completely redoing. He said that the gravel hadn't been touched in like, I think that particular tank, the gravel hadn't been touched in 5 years. And as he was combing through the gravel, you could see bubbles of this really noxious smelling gas coming up to the surface. And he said that that can kill fish. So let's see. And those are byproducts of metabolism from anaerobic bacteria. So Mark is offering some suggestions. I feed mine whiteworms, grindleworms, baby brine, microworms, and vinegar eels. Yep, all of those are great foods. Morgan Ruddle is saying they're awesome foods as well. Whiteworms and grindles are great. Oh my goodness, Zenzo, thank you so much for the super chat. I love your little logo. I could tell immediately it was you. So Zenzo has like this awesome like muscle building fish as his logo. So Jackie, Jackie, can you hear me? Hold on, let me send her a message. Hold on. Let me, for a quick second, hot minute, okay, however you say, okay. Let me message her on another platform. Yes, the joys of live stream, the joys of live stream. Maybe try, all right. So let's see, so Tamara had a heater shatter during a water change. Lost both silver variation males I had for my midnight lace guppies. Oh my gosh, lost my first double tail male betta who suffered from chronic SBD. Oh my goodness. I have had a heater explode on me just once. And yeah, I just forgot to unplug everything. And it like started smoking and I started freaking out. I didn't even think about unplugging it. And then it like glass shattered. It was terrible. So be sure to unplug your heater before you do a water change, because if that thing gets out of the gets out of the water, then the conductivity of air and water are very different, and it's going to register the temperature completely differently, and it's going to go nuts. It's going to burst. Okay, we're trying to get Jackie back on air. So all right, so try the link again. There we go. So let's keep this going. Mateo is asking, can a betta get along with a female guppy in a planted 5? So it can, it depends on the betta. So recently I loved it. I saw on Facebook that Aquarium Co-op has a delinquent fish, betta fish right now that is like a known fish killer, and he's like being offered for half off because of his ruthless ways. So yeah, the personalities of bettas can actually be quite different. Some fish are extremely tolerant of others and they will coexist completely peacefully. Others might, back on. Others are just going to be invariable nippers. Yes, Jackie, talk to me. Yes, and I can see you too.
I'm not touching anything.
Don't move. All right. Do you want to go over like the other live food you have for your fry? We can revisit that really quick.
Who, me?
Yeah, you got tons.
For fry or just in general?
Maybe like fry.
Okay, so for fry, I start out with vinegar eels and micro worms. There's like 3 types, and I just have them all mixed together. I think there's different sizes. I really don't know what the distinction is between like the banana and the Walter, but I just have one culture of them all mixed. And I feed those like the first week or 2, and then I switch to baby brine shrimp, and I hatch that for like the next month. And then I switch them off to frozen and dried and grindle worms if I have them.
Nice. Yeah, Ruru too saying he's listening to 4 live streams at the moment.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, I love grindles. I go from baby brine shrimp, and then you know what started like in my whiteworm culture, my room temperature whiteworm culture? I got like springtails in there now. Remember?
Oh yeah, I have
like
those too.
Yeah, I was like, how do you culture springtails? And they just like popped up. They're eating the cat food. Hold on, my phone's about to alarm, so I'm trying to turn it off. Okay, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. Ruru too, what other live streams are you listening to? I had no idea this was going to be this crazy live stream night tonight. It's just insane. All right, bye, Zenzo. Thank you for dropping by. Can't wait to see the latest edition. Zenzo's like really building out his fish room right now. It's awesome.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, a question for you. So,
Ooh.
oh my, I can't. Okay. Space Michelle Adache. Space Michelle Adache. What does Moon River Bettas think of true green bettas?
I don't think they exist. I think the closest you're going to get is a turquoise, like, if you're talking like iridescent, like no metallic influence, true green bettas, I don't think you can get them. I think the closest you can get is like a nice turquoise, but I've never seen one at least that didn't have metallic influence.
Yeah, I've never seen like a deep forest non-iridescent green before, ever. So I don't know. Maybe it does exist out there. But as of right now, I'm in the same mindset that you are. So. Everyone's watching multiple live streams. Well, thanks guys for splitting time with us. So Kyle is saying springtails and red wigglers are both used in grindleworm cultures as pest control for the benefit of the health of the culture, which means you had a wise seller. Yeah, the red wigglers came in from Select Aquatics from Greg Sage. So yeah, I don't know. It seems like the room temperature whiteworms have like really gone down in that culture, and I have way more red wigglers. So I don't know if there's actually competition. Maybe. Have you ever kept those, Jackie?
Red wigglers?
Yeah. I know you set up a culture a while ago, right?
Yeah, I tried to, and I kind of forgot about it and killed them. So I want to do it again because I want just for like to make my own compost bin and stuff. And, you know, the big cichlids will eat them. But no, I haven't kept them alive so far. Oh, and my axolotl will eat them too. That's another reason to get them going.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could keep an axolotl. They're illegal in California.
I heard that.
Yeah, it sucks. I used to have one before I moved here, actually. I had a big axo. He was like this big, and he was wild type colored, but he had green eyes because he had green fluorescent protein, but he didn't also have like the corresponding like, I forget what it's called, amelanistic characteristics. So most of the time, GFP axolotls are also amelanistic, so you can actually see the GFP because otherwise you just see it in the eyes. So, but yeah, I had to part ways with that axo before I came here. So the stream isn't playing for Tamara. I think people are working. Okay, Kyle, I'll get the culture wetter and try and get those whiteworms back. Mackenzie's saying finally caught a live stream. Awesome. Thank you for coming.
Oh, Mackenzie, who painted my Susie up there. I haven't thanked her yet. She sent that to me. So shout out to her. I love it.
Oh, Susie. Oh my goodness. So Susie.
I just came home, and the worst part is it was right after a funeral. Like, we had a death in the family, and I was gone, and it was really sad. And like either the Monday immediately after or the Tuesday, I just came home. You know, I hadn't checked on them. I went out in the morning and came back,
and I just saw her floating. And so it was just horrible. I was all alone by myself. I called my mom, like hysterically crying. She was about to get in the car and drive up here from Georgia.
Oh my God. Yeah. At least your mom understands, you know? Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, oh, I lost my fish. And they're like, your fish? Or, you know? Like, and then.
Yeah, but Susie was like a dog. Everybody loved, even my pizza guy, like, because you can see her tank all the way to the front door. So the pizza guy's like, hi, fish. So everybody loved her. She was like the mascot of my fish room.
Oh, man. Oh, so terrible. And then, like, what I hate is, like, if it's a really personable fish like that, and you're used to, like, walking into the fish room and them saying hi, and then you, like, go in the next day and they don't say hi.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's
it's
the
like
worst.
A little kick every time.
Yeah, that's why I moved some of my goldfish into that tank like a few days later because I couldn't stand looking at it. And then I got Hammer to replace her, but yeah, the empty tank is the worst.
Mm-hmm. And that's an interesting point, the fact that, you know, some people would view getting a new fish right away as callous, but or you know, if you have a dog that passes away and getting a new puppy right away as being callous. On the other hand, I think it's a way to heal, you know? It's like how phoenixes like are gorgeous and then they burst into ashes and start over again, but you know, it's like the cycle of death and rebirth in a way. It's like the way to keep you motivated and to keep you coming back and be excited. And I think, honestly, it is possible to look forward and mourn at the same time. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. And I think everybody's different. You know, some people, they have to wait, you know, a month, a week, a year before they're ready. For me, I want to fill that hole immediately. And it's not replacing what I lost. It's just, I'm used to having, you know, this presence in my life, and not having it is worse. So, you know, God forbid when my dog passes, I will have another puppy right away if I don't get one beforehand, because I wouldn't be able to handle like just being completely without.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, everyone's different.
It's like not replacing. You know, they're irreplaceable, but it's a way to fill a void, like a certain part of yourself, you know? It's not exactly. It's like the same niche, but different, you know? And honestly, that's the only way that you can keep going, for me, anyway. You know? Yeah. Otherwise, you just get sucked into this vacuum where you feel just frankly like awful, you know?
Yeah, and that's kind of what happened to me after Susie died and all that happened. I just kind of dropped off the face of the planet. I wasn't even putting out videos. I wasn't answering comments. I didn't want to talk about fish. And, you know, it really took getting the new flower horn and, you know, getting some other new fish and forcing myself to get back in the fish room to get that mojo back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. For me, it was like I had to redirect my energy somewhere else, like, you know, in order to come back to it, in order to keep going. And I think that ties in nicely to a comment I saw in the chat. Sarah Blakey is asking, have you guys ever felt like you can't keep going with the hobby after a huge loss? I love fish keeping, but it just seems like never-ending stress. So it's, what do you can comment on that? Have you ever hit that wall and felt like you couldn't go on again? Because, I mean, I feel like losing Susie was a pretty big wall.
Yeah, that was the closest I've been in a while to, you know, I just want one fish in a tank and that's it. I'm not going to do it. You know, I'm investing thousands of dollars in this fish room and I'm not getting any, you know, pleasure out of it. But the longer I thought about it, the more I realized there's nothing else I want to do. And I have to be doing something. I'm someone that's always busy, and that's why I run the fish club and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm just never going to be able to give it up. I really can't fathom anything that could happen that would cause me to say, well, I'm just done and walk away. I'm in it for life, I guess.
Yeah. And I think that's another interesting point. Like it's something that's a part of you, but the fact that you have multiple ways to engage in it is really good, right? Like you can direct it towards something else, you know? So.
Yeah, and I think, you know, exploring different avenues is cool. If you get tired of breeding, you're having trouble breeding, if that's what you do, and you take a break and you focus on planted tanks or you focus on this or that, that's good. Having variety helps, you know, when something bad happens in one aspect of the hobby, having something else to focus on really helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, that's why YouTube has been such a wonderful outlet, because, you know, I can still do fish stuff without actually having my hands in the acroflavin tank, you know, that acroflavin stained tank that I just can't bear to really touch right now, you know, but at the same time, I could like, and the fact that I'm here, like there is nothing alive in this house, this apartment. And right now I can do a live stream because my roommate is gone. Normally she goes to sleep at 9 o'clock. Can you believe that? Like, that she has, if anyone has their life together, it's my roommate here, because she goes to bed at 9 p.m. and then wakes up at 4:30 every day. Okay, and then
my roommate does the same thing. That's why I'm in the basement right now.
How I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that.
No, I can't do it.
I wish I could do that. But anyway, as I was saying, like, YouTube's wonderful for the hobby too, because even though I'm completely separated away from my tanks at home, and with recent tragedy, it's like hard to be in there, you know, other than the super basic stuff. I can still engage in the hobby in a completely different manner. So through YouTube. And it's awesome that there was like so much live streaming, and there's 77 people watching right now. Jackie,
oh, wow.
Stage fright yet?
Yeah.
77 people are here. Oh my goodness. So hold on. Let's return to the chat really quick. If there's anything you want to address in the chat, Jackie, go for it.
If I can. I'm scared to touch anything, honestly.
Are you just like staying away from the computer?
I'm gonna try to scroll and hopefully nothing explodes.
Yeah, but that was a great question, Sarah. Like, it is stressful, but you know, my grandfather would say that anything worth doing is, you know, well, he kind of has two sayings, you know, the cliche, like anything worth doing is worth doing well, and then anything worth doing is gonna be damn hard. That's what he said. You know, it's gonna be difficult. And he was a big believer in the 10,000 hours. Have you heard of that?
No.
So 10,000 hours is, I forget what study it was, and I read somewhere it was debunked or whatever, but basically someone came up with the idea that in order to be an expert at something, you have to put in 10,000 hours. And that's a lot of time when you think about it. Like 10,000 hours of your life devoted to one thing in order to become truly specialized, to become truly an expert. Because by that token, it's like experience is what matters. And, you know, fish keeping has all of these crazy nuances. It's like more art than science in a lot of ways, which is why it interests me so much. The fact that it's so complex and complicated, and there's so much community all at the same time. You know, and you have these beautiful fish or whatever. But in order to maintain these fish and to play with the things that we look at and that kind of stuff, it takes a lot of time, and a lot of time devoted to that thing. So, you know, 10,000 hours, bumping your head against wall after wall after wall, takes a lot of grit and resilience, you know? And if it's worth it, you know, Jackie, you've decided it's worth it, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I'm too stubborn. If you tell me to stop doing something, I'm just going to do it really hard. And, you know, I really have not hit a point yet where I'm like, I should probably stop doing this because it's not working. I just keep doing it, and I just have faith that eventually it'll all work out. You have to be positive. You know, fish, like the fish keeping hobby is like, even when it's really bad, it's still like the highlight of my day to come down and see the fish, because everything else in life, it distracts you from that. So even at its worst, it's still the best thing. So
yeah, and that is nice too, because like at some level you can just kind of like sit there and just watch, just watch the fish. It's awesome. It's like there are different levels of engagement even there. You can like be in the fish room just kind of taking it all in passively. You can be in there like designing a whole new part of the rack system or plotting new genetic crosses or that kind of stuff. But I like that you can still kind of be in the same, what's the word I'm looking for? You can be in the same arena of your life, but just like modulate how much effort you can put into it. So whenever things are going really bad, it's possible to just kind of dial it down and just kind of lay low for a while,
Yeah, sometimes you just need to take a break, especially if you're going at it really hard like we do with show breeding and stuff like that. Like sometimes it's nice to say, oh, well, I'm just not going to change my jars today and I'm just going to feed them and sit and watch the goldfish or whatever and not stress about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can just slow down. So, and the nice thing about a lot of the fish hold on. Like I wanted to say that it's nice that you can kind of delay if you're like right now, I'm in Sacramento over the summer. I didn't have any new spawns while I was out here because obviously, can't take care of them while I'm home. So there is kind of a timeline that you can play around with too. Like things don't have to be done immediately right away. Like some things can't wait, I'm trying to think of a hobby that like you can't wait on. I know science, you just can't like give up, because you're going to lose that line of stuff. But I'm trying to think. I had one and then it just slipped my mind. But anyway, the fish hobby is one where you can just kind of let it simmer, just kind of let it go. Let's see. So some things out of the chat. So Jamie Hansen, I just had heard of this. To master a craft, it takes 10 years. So Ruru2 did the math. 3.4 years of 8 hours a day is 10,000 hours. That's quite a bit. That's a lot of time. And when I think of, when I was younger, I did horseback riding. Like I didn't have fish, I had horses. And I was at the barn every day after school. It would take 45 minutes to an hour to drive me out. And when I was younger, my grandfather was the one that drove me, like bless his heart, But anyway, I was in the barn all afternoon, all weekend spent in the barn, everything, barn, from when I was like, he would argue and say I've been riding horses since I was 3, but I didn't get serious until like 5 or 6. And then up until high school, and I brought my horse with me to college. But just losing those 10,000 hours, Jackie, we were talking about how much you have invested in fish now. It's kind of like all of those hours I had invested in horseback riding are like, they're not meaningless now by any means, but it's gone. I don't have that anymore. And fish kind of filled that void. Like in that case, I had to completely change what I was doing because I live in one of the most congested areas on the planet. So being the Bay Area, we have horses, but they're all Silicon Valley kids. I did look into it, but it's not financially viable. So let's see. But we had all those fun calculations. Let's see. Kyle's saying we're preaching. Are we preaching? We're not preaching.
Maybe it's a good kind of preaching.
Hopefully. Kyle did another calculation, 5 years of 40-hour work weeks. Yep. So Jamie's saying a lot of species have been saved because of aquarium hobbyists. Yeah, it's pretty amazing what hobbyists can do. Especially the ones like in the middle of the country with their gigantic fish rooms. Like, man, Jackie, I'm so envious of your fish room. It's so like organized. I love it.
Yeah, I'm OCD, so right now it's not organized. You don't even want to see it, but I like
Got a nice
having everything else.
backdrop.
Yeah, that's because I have no other light anywhere. All my lights are out because it's almost midnight here. I'm on the East Coast. I don't think we have any other East Coasters here.
Everyone's asleep. So Tamara is saying, if you have any idea about my situation, you would really be surprised that I've stayed in the hobby, let alone moving forward and slowly building a business. Yeah, that takes so much resilience, so much grit, so much effort. Just got to keep going. Just keep going. It's yeah, it's tough. Okay, Squad Pokemasters. That's awesome name, by the way. My phone won't play your video, so I'm using my kid's phone. So this is Kristen. I've already asked Jackie, but what is your opinion on fix meds like Betta Fix?
Oh, okay.
I haven't used them ever, so like that would be a Melafix and stuff. It's like you hear all these things about it covering the labyrinth and all this stuff, but I've never used them. I've always used different medications. So I don't know if you want to fill us in on what you've said before.
That's pretty much what I said. Like, to me, they seem kind of like a snake oil or a Band-Aid. Like, if either you need a medication or you just need like water changes and some salt. And I feel like the fixes are kind of just like one step up from clean water and salt for most things. But I didn't find it. Stacy found a study on like Melafix, and it's actually not as bad as I think a lot of the betta hobbyists have you think. I didn't read the whole thing because I don't use it, but yeah, I don't think that whole like it burns or clogs up the labyrinth organ is actually true. I'd have to find that study and look it over again though.
Yeah, there's so much that you hear, but until you actually test it, it's like, you know, it's kind of say whoever says what and if it actually does it or whatever. But the fact that they've like made money off of it, that's that's something. Yeah. I don't know. Money off a lot of things these days. So Priscilla is saying passion should be the driving force. And then Ruru2 says, I have no passion, I just do. I feel like I zing back and forth between those two things, you know? It's like passion can carry you a long way. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I think that's why I like Gordon Ramsay so much. Like, whenever he cooks, the passion just kind of like spills out and infects everybody around him. Like, it's, you can't help it, you know, to be completely surrounded by that. So passion definitely helps, but sometimes you just got to do it.
When you're tired, it's not passion that's changing your water at midnight.
Sorry, oops. I didn't mean to swear, but like, I really just have to clean out that tank. That, you know, the tank filled with aquaflavin, like a 30-gallon tank filled with aquaflavin before. Like,
oh no.
Jackie, are you still here?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, 30 gallons of aquaflavin, like, I'm really not looking forward to that.
You almost just want to like throw the tank away.
I wish I could. I wish I could just be like, you know, I wish I could pay someone to do it. But yeah, I gotta clean the tanks because like with Corey and Jimmy coming over, it's like I'm like really embarrassed. That's another thing. Like, if you kind of like let things lie fallow for a while, it's like honestly embarrassing to have people come to your house.
Yeah.
You know, normally I'm like, yeah, come over, let's hang out. You know, I love being in my fish room, but like whenever things happen like that, or here all summer too, and you can only do so much in a 48-hour weekend, it's bad in there. Like, I kind of don't want them to see my tanks at this point. Let's see. Okay, so Jamie was a horse person too. Awesome.
I'm a horse person. I just never had horses.
Yeah, I really miss them a lot. They're They were a lot of work. I wonder if I could like find a picture of my horse and like briefly put them up. You know, I just missed that part of my life, but it was kind of the same thing. You know, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of things not working sometimes. He was an Arabian saddlebred, so sometimes his head would kind of get stuck in the clouds, and some days he just couldn't focus. You know, no matter how much redirection you did, it was like being like a child sometimes. So hold on, let me find a cute picture of him. It's been a while.
I just saw a good question. I'm trying to find it again.
Okay.
Oh, Margaret Jing, what's your biggest fish-related fear? Mine is fish TB and the possibility that could wipe out my entire fish room. I think for one thing, I think the fish TB thing, it was a big scare like 5 or 6 years ago. Everybody was like, anything wrong with their fish was like fish TB. And it got to be a little bit of a joke, and I'm not as scared of it now. I know you've worked with it and you know a lot more about it. But yeah, any disease getting in there is a big thing. Mine is just like equipment failures, like leaving and, you know, the power going out or something that could wipe out my entire fish room all at once. My air system going down, something like that.
Yeah. You know, I actually, have you seen that commercial of that piece of tape that can supposedly, you can like, in the commercial, it's kind of corny. They take the big piece of tape and then they like slap it onto things. Like a pipe is bursting water and then they slap it onto the pipe to stop the water from leaking. Have you seen that? It's
no.
hilarious. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. But I bought a roll just in case, because my fear is that a tank bursts, which I know isn't going to happen because I have tiny tanks, which is one reason why I have small tanks, honestly. But yeah, I have a roll of this supposedly impervious tape that will stop rushing water. So hold on. Wow. I am clicking back on my Facebook to find a picture of my horse, and I'm like in high school age right now. And
type in the search in the top, like put the horse's name, because if you posted something with his name, it'll pop up.
Yeah. I want the one where he's on the beach, though. There's a picture of him on I'll find it later. It's distracting me from the chat, but yeah. Miss him. He's like the dapple gray horse that I had. But anyway, it's too far gone. Okay. Let's see. So Sai is saying, in my opinion, just do what makes you happy. Even it takes hard work and time and energy. If you're not happy anymore, then stop. Simple as that. Yeah, it's definitely a balance, because I mean, there are moments where you're going to be really unhappy, like doing something, but in the long run, you know it's going to make you happy again. And if you let up, then that huge investment phase is going to lose its effectiveness, right? What do you think, Jackie?
Yeah, I think you have to really be sure you want to give it up. Now, there's scaling back, and then there's just straight giving it up and like selling off your equipment. I think you need to be really sure that you want to give up before you give up, because when I moved, I went to school in Georgia. I lived in Savannah, Georgia for years, and then I moved back up here to the DC area. And I was like, I'm going to stop breeding. I'm going to focus on this and that. And I sold most of my tanks. I kept like 4 or 5 little 2.5 gallon planted tanks. 4 months later, I was searching Craigslist for tanks to set up a spawn. And I regret it to this day, because I lost all my lines. I didn't have any of the fish I bred because I'd sold them all off. And like, never again will I do that, because I just regret it so much. And now I hoard tanks. Like, I have tanks hidden in the attic and stuff. I don't sell anything.
That's awesome. But yeah, and you still regret it to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Like losing those lines. Like, that is one thing. Like, and I think I saw Kyle really quickly said that you can't wait with Nodos. That's true. Like, annual killifish, you lose those killifish. I mean, who knows when they're going to get imported into the country again? Like, some things require so much investment and time to set up that if you give up and walk away, it might not be there when you come back. You know, like those lines that you gave away. Like, sometimes I think about how I shouldn't have let go of my long fin double tail crown tails. You remember those? That was a long time, you know? And like me getting rid of that line, like in the end, it was the correct decision for me. It was at that point, it had been too frustrating again and again to watch these crown tail males develop a lot of curling. Like we're talking like crinkly fries, you know, like they would be gorgeous, mature, beautiful. And I had, remember that thing had like the cool tri-band coloration. Like they were really, really cool fish. But like every single time I jarred a male, it would like turn into springs. Like all the rays would turn into like little springs. And they would just look awful.
I think it's your water, because my crown tails do not curl, and my pH is like 8. And
oh man,
none of my fish, it doesn't curl. And so I'm trying to get my crown tails to spawn again so I can like gross them out and see. But I'm like, I've had fish like 2-3 years straight rays. So I think it's something to do with hardness. I think water, like cleanliness, has a lot to do with it too. But I think hard water and like having a lot of minerals in the water really helps those rays.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just got to the point where I couldn't deal with it anymore. And San Francisco is also doing weird things with their water right now because we have like 40-year-old pipes. So they're like redirecting our water source away from Hetchy, and it's like getting all weird. So I think that had something to do with the Bettas max, maybe. I don't know. But speaking of things that are outside of your control that give you so much awfulness.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I regret giving them up, you know, like, because that line was 3 years at least in the making at that point. And there's not really anyone else that works with them, maybe for a reason. So Dwayne is saying tribulations in the fish room is an opportunity for growth if you are able to recognize it as one. To become good keepers, we have to try to not make the same mistakes by figuring out what really happened. Wise words, Dwayne. Always wise words from Dwayne Kitchell. Like, who else also said something a lot? It was like Einstein, I think. He was like, it's like a crazy person does the same thing twice expecting the same result. Something along those lines. I have it written out, and I have it in my classroom, actually. Because it's like, if it ain't working, but you keep doing the same thing the exact same way over and over again, expecting it to become somehow magically get better. You know, I mean, there is something about repetition and practice, but, you know, even if you think you're doing the same thing, you're probably like modifying little tiny things to make things better. And it's those tribulations, as you say, Dwayne, that get you to refine your craft and get better and better over time. You know, I mean, how many failed spawns have you had, Jackie? Like I've had, I don't even want to.
This year, this month, you know, I set up a lot of spawns.
It's like, I don't even want to relive those, but you know what? I write it down, okay? I got a notebook and you know, that's I think that would be a good thing to touch on, is to write things down so you don't do the same thing over and over again expecting different results like a crazy person would, you know? Like, write things down, reflect what's going on. Like the whole saga of my max, like everything is written down in painful detail. Like maybe I'll get max again in the future. Maybe I'll run into that kind of velvet in a soft water fish like that again. Who knows? But I have all the notes, all the observations, every single thing that I did, and every single thing that happened written away. So if someone like talks to me about it in the future, I can be like, oh, I have evidence for what happened to me, and hopefully it doesn't happen to you. You know?
Yeah, I need to do that. I don't write stuff down enough. But yeah, but I do take stuff. I remember what I did before, so I can say, okay, well, this doesn't work, so I'm going to try something else. Because like with me, I've been having die-off issues in my spawns. I get spawns and they're doing good, and then like day 5 to 7, they just start dropping like flies. And it's been going on long enough now that I've been like changing one tiny thing each spawn. Say, okay, well, it's not ammonia because I have a filter, and it's not lack of food because I have live plants and detritus and all this stuff. And so I'm finally like weeding my way down to figuring out what it is, trial and error, but I do need to start writing stuff down some more.
And I find it really helps. Like, I feel like I've always been someone to write things down. In middle school, I had like a whole notebook. But yeah, now, let's see. Now that I'm a teacher, I have to like keep track of everything because it's not all going to fit into my head. But I started this like bullet journal thing. So I have a separate notebook for my fish, but then I also have this. And there's a bunch of notes in here of the max still, I think, because I haven't organized everything. Some of it's on Post-its. I mean, you know, as long as it's in there somewhere, written down, and I'll organize it later, you know. So, oh, wait. Mark Blanchard got the quote that I was trying to think of. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Yeah.
And then Ruru also said, yeah, it was Einstein that said that. Thank you guys for bringing that up. But yeah, Albert Einstein. So he had some really memorable quotes. You know, I asked my students, I wonder if any of them are in the chat, but I asked them like a survey about what they thought about scientists, and Einstein like came up a good 10% of the time, 8 to 10% of the time. Einstein came up in the responses. But he has some good quotes. So mass die-offs of fry are pretty more normal, Micah Smith is saying, from what I've heard and experienced.
Not the way I'm having it, though, because I'm going from 300 plus fry to 5 or 10 in a matter of a couple days. So that's
wow, that is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're experienced enough.
I think it's something in my tap water, like bacteria or something. So right now I'm trying RO water, and I'm trying antibiotics in the water, different spawns, and seeing if either of those work. But right now my fish don't want to spawn because it's too freaking hot in here, and they're
too hot.
Yeah, you know, my fish don't spawn in the summer. They hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
I found a paper, like, because I'm doing all my betta research in lab right now. Their average temperature during spawning season, like crazy statistics. Guess how hot they are? Like,
I think I read that one's 86, right? I don't remember what Celsius is.
31 degrees Celsius. Like, that's freaking hot. And that was average. Like, some of those fish were spawning in like 35 degrees Celsius. That's hotter than human body temperature. Like,
yeah, that's why when people say that they're scared to turn up the heat for like velvet or something, I'm like, turn it up 90, 91, like until the fish starts really looking like it's stressed, because these fish can get a lot hotter than we think they can.
Yeah, it was insane. And then I think the thing that got me from that paper the most was the depth of the water where the fish are spawning. 5 centimeters was normal, like was average. And then the shallowest was 2.5 centimeters. There were fish spawning in 2.5 centimeters of water. Like, I would love to see that, you know, spawning in 2.5 centimeters of water. And I think on the other end was like 11 centimeters is where they found most of the bubble nests. So between 2.5 centimeters and 11 centimeters of water, like, that's not a lot.
No.
These fish are really shallow, hot water, and they couldn't even measure the dissolved oxygen in this water. Not only because it was so low, but the instrument requires a certain depth of water, so they couldn't even get dissolved oxygen. So they like went into the area next to where all the bubble nests were, and it was like almost zero. It was insane conditions that these fish live in the wild. But anyway, hope that stuff gets. Do you think it's like, do you think it's velvet that's causing it?
I don't know, because I have salt in the water, but as my velvet cat catastrophe showed, some velvet is resistant to salt. So I don't think so. I can't see it though. They look fine. They're eating. They have big fat bellies, and then it's like the next day I'll come and there's some dead on the bottom, and then more and more and more. And if I try antibiotics or water changes or anything, nothing stops it once it starts. So I don't know. I'm at a loss, but you know, it's either going to have to be like 100% remineralized RO, or hopefully like using antibiotics works, and then I can just get them. If I can get them past 2 weeks, they're fine. It's just when they're that itty bitty tiny stage that they just can't make it.
Wow, that's really interesting. I wonder what it could be. So, yeah. Well, I miss spawning, you know? I haven't.
Yeah, I'm like mad because I'm going on vacation in like 2 or 3 weeks, so I can't spawn right now, but I just got a lot of really nice fish in. So I'm like just sitting on my hands trying not to put them in tanks.
Yeah. Oh man, that'll be awesome. Like I can't. The nice thing about working in a fish lab is you're surrounded by fish that are spawning, so that's nice. You know, I love it. So I don't know how many aquariums we have in lab. It's over 100 easily. I think my boss said yesterday that he thinks there are around 36 species in the lab, like 36 species of cichlids, over 100 tanks. I think it's close to 200 tanks in lab. And the awesome thing is that fish are spawning and have fry and eggs constantly. So like every morning I get my fix by like walking through all the labs and like saying hello to all the fish.
That's why I started keeping guppies, just so I could constantly have babies, because the guppies will breed no matter what. I don't even have to like barely feed them, but there's still babies in there. So, you know, at least I always have those to look at. My bristlenose just spawned too, so I have a bunch of tiny little baby bristlenose.
Oh yeah, I saw those on Facebook. That's so cute. But yeah, that's a really good point. Talking about getting through hard times in the fish room is to have surefire things that you know are going to work. You know, always have something that you know is going to work and that's going to bring you joy. It might not be that, you know, the really highly anticipated spawn from the fish that, you know, you've been building up to for 2 or 3 years or whatever, but something is going to have babies and something is going to bring life into the world in your fish room. You got to have something like that.
Yeah.
You know, just even if it's, you know, quote unquote little, it's still something, you know, it's still babies. So, oh my goodness. The chat just moved a lot for me. I guess it wasn't moving. All of a sudden moved. Okay. So DPK is troubleshooting. He's like, is it a temperature shift causing even small temperature that could affect fry survival rate? And that's a good point. You know, Nelson, he, Nelson in CBS, he
I love
insulates.
Nelson.
Yeah, he insulates all of his tanks with styrofoam. And he said that it helps like reduce temperature swings. So.
See, I don't think it's that. I've like measured all my temperatures like throughout the day. I've measured pH and like everything you can possibly test for before and after spawns, you know, before the die off and after the die off, and all that is staying the same. I have very, very well-aged sponge filters. I have live plants. I have a couple ram's horn snails, you know, very natural style spawn tanks. So the only thing I use is my tap water. I have salt in it. I use prime. I don't overdose prime or anything like that. And my water is aged as well. So I really think it's got to be something in the water itself. That's the only thing I can think of, because it's across all. Like I did 6 spawns in a row and I lost all of them like at once. Like they all just started dying off at the same time. So I think it has to be the water. That's like the one common factor among all those tanks.
It's like the unifying common variable. Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of people talking about the water. Creative Pet Keeping is in the house. Sorry, I just saw you, Kasia. Yeah, so she's been adding extra prime to the water for water changes, trying to make up for, looks like, smell chlorine and ammonia issues possibly. But yeah, and then who else? I saw someone comment that during the summer things change. Maybe the water is changing. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's probably the water as you suspect. So
someone just asked for all those 6 spawns from the same pair. No, this is 6 different pairs all spawned on the same day, which was magical in the fact that they all did that. But
whoa.
Yeah, 6 because I'm counting. I have 10 tanks for spawning set up at any one time. So they were all empty. I put 6 pairs in. They all spawned. I think, you know, one was a day later or something, but yeah, they all pretty much died off the same time.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Jeez. Did you have like a storm front come in, something like that? Was it a?
I don't remember. That was going on the same time, like right before Susie died and all this craziness was going on. So it's like the dark ages. I just don't think about
it. Oh, man. Well, yeah. No.
I'll find it out eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, DPK Fish is the one that said some city water will increase chloramine levels during raining season and drought as well. So do you say drought or do you say drought? I used to say drought. Okay. I used to say drought and then people made a lot of fun of me. So
well, in Virginia we have a little bit of the southern twang, so we have more of like drought and ras and nas and all that stuff.
Drought. No.
Drought. No, drought.
Let's see. Oh, Chui Yang has a really nice setup. He says, I lived at an apartment. The city water always gave my bettas ick. Now, after I bought my new house, my well water is filtered 2 times before coming out of the faucet, and I don't even need to put in primer dechlorinator. Wow,
that's nice.
Being on a well would be like the holy grail, I think. You know, unless something gets in the groundwater, but
I was about to say, because I have a friend who lives like out near the cornfields in Illinois, and she's been having trouble with her fish because I guess pesticides run off or something like that. So,
yeah, that would be bad. So Alan Matthews is going back to the quote. Everyone is telling me that quote was misattributed to Einstein. You know, so one of my classes in the credential program was taught by an English high school teacher. He'd been teaching for like almost 40 years. And then I loved how he started classes because every day he would put a quote on the board. And it would usually be something related to the lesson of the day, but he would put that quote on the board. And his 2 questions that he would have us try and write out and figure out were, what does the quote mean? And second, who wrote it? You know, who do you think said it? And the beauty of it was that it didn't matter if you were right or wrong. It was the fact that you would like talk about why people would say things. Like what context would make you think that that particular person that stands for that particular thing would want to say that particular string of words at that particular time. Do you know what I mean? Like it was more about like why that person came, why you thought that that person came to that particular quote. You know, maybe it was something you heard about that person struggling through life at a particular point in their time. Maybe you knew that this, you know, everyone thought that it was Mark Twain that was saying everything. And it's true because Mark Twain is usually seen as someone who's deeply philosophical and also has a humor. So anyway, that was a long loop around to sometimes it doesn't matter who said it, but it's more about like why you think a person said it. So, which can bring up a whole can of worms about why people keep thinking it's Einstein. So, and just kind of who he is and what he represents to society. Let's see. So creative pet keeping, saying hearing all about failed spawns makes me feel like the betta gods blessed me with one successful spawn. Now I have to get the guts to spawn again. Yeah, it can be tough to like get back in the water, especially if you know, haven't done it for a while or you're not sure if it's going to work again or just something in the water is going wrong.
Or sometimes the fish are just really, sometimes everything is right and they just don't spawn.
Yeah, after a while you get like a toolkit. Okay, so what are some of your toolkits for when your fish don't want to spawn?
The first thing I do is I cut the tank in half. So like whatever I'm spawning in, I'll get some craft mesh, or I just got that what is it, polycarbonate roofing panels. I made some lids, and that stuff works really good to make little dividers to put in the tanks. So I cut off their floor space so they have to like pay attention to each other. And then besides that, upping the temperature, I'll throw ice cubes in there with like dechlorinator to drop the temp a little bit, kind of simulating rain. I know that works with cory breeders sometimes, and sometimes it works. Putting a male or a female in the tank has never worked for me. Some people say it like helps get them jealous or whatever. It's never worked for me.
Really? I've done that. I've done that trick. I won't put it in the tank. I'll like put it next to the tank, you know, and then they'll like shout insults at one another and then start spawning.
Yeah, mine don't. Like the male's just like, oh, well, I guess you like him better, and swim off, and that's it.
Wow. Just like me.
Yeah.
Too much effort. I like trying to spawn around weather. Like,
yeah, I do. I look for the moon and I look for storms. But I can control the weather by how I plan my spawns, because it can be calling for any kind of, you know, severe thunderstorms. As soon as I put a pair in the tank, the clouds just clear up. And magically.
It's like the other way.
Yeah.
Like, dang it.
Yeah. And alternately, if I want to wash my car, then the clouds come back. That's how that works.
Oh boy, you just broke up a little bit.
Oh, damn it. Can you hear me?
Say that again? About washing your car?
I said that brings the rain back. So I need to like plan my spawns and then wash my car, I think.
Yeah, just wash your car and set up the spawns at the same time. You won't have a clean car anymore, but let's see. Everyone keeps debating the water thing.
Yeah, everybody like they keep giving suggestions. I'm like, I've tried this. I welcome any suggestions. Bring them at me, but this has been going on for like a year now, on and off, and sometimes I can get spawns. I raised really nice placots in the fall, and I had no problem. And then, you know, spring, nothing but problems. So, but I'll try almost anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hold on. I am like completely lost where I am in the chat now.
Let's see. Oh,
I thought I was in a place and then it like moved around and now I don't know where I am anymore.
yeah, mine just jumped to the bottom.
Gosh, that is really, really irritating when it does that.
What's the smallest tank size you spawned in? 2.5 gallon tanks, but only filled with 1 gallon of water. So there's only like a couple inches of water in the bottom. That's how small I've done.
Oh, 2.5. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So we are going back down to the bottom. I'm sorry if we missed anyone, but I can't find myself in the chat anymore. I'm completely lost. So if you have a question and would like to have it addressed, then go ahead and stick it in there, in the chat, I mean. So let's see. Oh, we have, what are storms in California? Amy is asking. Be an ongoing thing in California. Oh, is California still in a drought? Jerry Brown keeps going back and forth. He said that we were out of it, but one of my friends that actually works in water, she said that it's definitely going to take years to recover from the drought. You know, there's a lot more snow in the mountains, she tells me, so that's good. But yeah, a lot less water changes also makes me feel better. Let's see. Jackie is asking, what type of jars do you use? I use CCW plastic 1 gallon jars size SG. So if you Google CCW plastics, go to small order quantity. And I guess along the same lines, Jackie, what do you use? You use beanies, right?
Yeah, I use beanies, and they're smaller. They're only like, they hold at most a half gallon, and usually if they're, that's only if they're like completely full, but that's just what fits on my shelf best. And I also have carpal tunnel, and I drop stuff a lot. And those beanies are about as big as I can hold with my little hands, like safely. I used to have like the bigger CCW containers, and I dropped several of them and like splashed water everywhere. So the smaller ones work better for me when I'm having to move them and stuff for water changes.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a really careful consideration too, is like what you are physically capable of doing. Like if you make things too hard to do, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, keep coming back to the hardship thing. Make things easy for yourself so that you can keep going. You know, like if you had stayed with the big jars that you kept dropping, like it would have been just so much work, right? Like,
yeah.
Stress, so much effort. So.
Plus, I just like being able to take pictures of my fish all the time in the beanies. That's like the side reason.
Oh yeah, those are the best for taking pictures. Like even in the CCW plastics, it's really tough. So, because they get stuck in the corners.
Yeah.
It's like anything that doesn't have that sharp, beautiful 90-degree angle, you're not gonna get all of them all at the same time. Let's see. So Yuma is asking, and I've seen this several times. So, oh my goodness, it keeps jumping around. Just had a spawn, don't know how to sell the babies, they're show quality. And I think this is something we can address because I know several people are, you know, thinking about if you spawn, what do you do afterwards? So, I mean, I'm always going to say take them to a show if they're show quality, even if they're not, you know. Well, I mean, let me back up. Sending fish to a show is wonderful because A, exposure, B, exposure to the public, because I know I fell in love with show bettas when I went to my first show. And I still remember I walked into the showroom and Sig's gigantic red placots were right there in the front. And I just couldn't believe my eyes. Like that was the very first time I'd seen a show quality betta. And I just was hooked from that day, just seeing those gigantic red show placots, you know? So exposure to the public, you never know who's gonna see your fish. Building local fish keeper community. YouTube is awesome. It connects us from all around the world. But sometimes you need to like sit down with someone and be in the physical presence of someone. Like Jackie, one day I hope I can go see your fish room and film it.
You can come anytime. Come for CatCon next year, the big catfish convention. They do like right up the street. You can stay at my house and we can go to that.
All right. See, that is why YouTube's awesome and the internet in general. Like, but anyway, I mean, you would agree, right? You need sometimes to come together and have a show and have a crazy 24, 48 hours with fish people, right? You know?
Yeah, there's nothing like getting together with, even if it's just one person, there's nothing like having someone come to your fish room or you go to them and just sitting and talking and showing them your fish and hearing about what they're doing and sharing ideas. Like there's nothing like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's irreplaceable. And then third, there's an auction. So you can put your fish in the show and then they go for auction. It helps support the club because they're getting a little bit of the money too. View it as a donation for continuing the local community, you know. And then, you know, for encouraging and supporting the growth of the local fish community around you. And then it's awesome because you get the money right away most of the time. Well, not right away every time. You get it soon, you know? So if you can, and they're show quality, I would send them to a show and put them in the auction. It'll pay for postage, and then, you know, you'll also help support the show. And who knows if you can get another person into the show. So that's all I do now because I don't spawn as much and I don't have as many bettas ever. So all my fish just go to the local auction. That's how I sell my fish. So Jackie, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, well, first, it's kind of funny you mentioned seeing Sig's placots because my first show was GABA, the first Georgia show in like 2010. I've been keeping bettas a few years, but only as pets. And I walked in, and the first fish I saw was Sig's turquoise double tail half moons.
He is
And
amazing.
and that's what made me fall in love with it. And I think it's funny because you still do placots, and I still love double tail half moons, and it's all because of Sig. But
Oh,
yeah,
man.
definitely support your local fish shows. I can speak from experience. It's a lot of work to keep these clubs running. Just people are lazy. They don't want to be active. They want to come to the show and enjoy the show, but they don't know the work it takes to keep these clubs going year after year after year. So definitely support your clubs. I don't sell a lot either. I obviously have trouble breeding, but even when I do, I like to give fish away. I
Another one, yeah.
I don't like to ship a lot. And for me, unless I'm going to make, and I hate to like make it about the money, but unless I'm going to make a certain amount of money, I either just want to give the fish away because it's really going to help someone, or I want to make enough to make it worth my time to, you know, go to the post office and pack it up. So a lot of my fish end up, if I can't get rid of them locally, it sounds bad, but they go to the flower horn, and it's kind of like live food for him. And I just accept that. So it's, you know, fish either go to shows, they go out locally. I do sell some sometimes, and then the rest, you know, they go to the flower horn because to me, they're not worth the extra effort. You can go and get a cheap fish at your local pet store, so it's not worth it to me to spend all that time and money and make like $5 basically. And that's kind of harsh, and people don't like to hear that, but it is the, you know, the reality when you're breeding something.
It is eye-opening to like take your fish into, it's like going to GameStop. Like, have you ever taken stuff to GameStop? Like, I remember it being halfway decent, but man, it's bad now. Or like secondhand books, you know? You like, I no joke took 5 bags of like books that I grew up with, you know? And I was moving out. My mom's like, you got to get rid of them. And so I went to get rid of them. And like for 5 bags of books, I got $19. Like, it's kind of go like that sometimes. But, you know, there's all these breeding for profit things that you can look at too. Like Corey has a great series on it. Bob does a lot of great stuff on breeding for profit. So there are ways to make money in the fish hobby. I'm not sure if Bettas is one of them.
Yeah, and it's, for me, it's not even about the money. Like the effort to ship them, that makes it about the money. But what I want to do is improve my lines. I'm breeding for show quality. So if I don't sell any and I only keep the ones I'm going to show, that would be fine with me. But I do get attached to them, and I do feel bad culling them. So if they're super nice and they're worth the effort, I do try to rehome them. But yeah, for me, it's not about making money. It's about, you know, how can I improve this and make it better, and, you know, send it to the shows and support the shows.
Yeah, I really love doing things at the shows. So, oh my gosh, Boren is here. Hey, Boren. When and where was your first time going to the Betta show? Mine was 2011 or 12, and that's when I met Min. So, Boren, I think, let me think. Mine was when did I graduate? 20. It was like right before that. Boren is in CBS as well. So Boren, it must have been right before that, because I remember like you, Min, and Stephanie and Roland, like you guys kind of joined like right after I joined, like literally, like I think a couple months after, something like that. So we got some people saying good night. I guess it's late. Is it late for you?
It's like it's past midnight, but I'm a night owl, so it's still early.
It's only 9:30 for me.
Oh, I just saw a good one. Oh, Dwayne Kitchell, he mentioned that on Amazonas, which I need to get a subscription to, has a very green bee mandor, so maybe green bettas are possible. There are wild species that are very green. I have betta forshi, and they're more sapphire colored, but they show up green with flash. But I think for domestic splendens, I don't see it happening like without the influence of metallic. It's perfectly possible to get it with metallic influence, but if you're talking like blackhead, just straight eared, I don't think it's possible genetically.
Mm-hmm. And actually, yeah, there's been some crazy hybrid showing up on Facebook. Like on, did you see that crazy one in, I think he posted in Bettas for All or the IBC group, but it was like this weird Stictos Mahachai Splendens hybrid.
Yeah, I've been seeing them going around lately.
That thing was green. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, metallic based, but that thing was really green. That was a really cool one. But like, see, if you could breed that in eventually into the Splendens over and over again, like they have fertile, like issues with having fertile offspring and the fry surviving apparently. I've never done a hybrid across species like that, but that is how metallic and dragon eventually got into Betta Splendens, was outcrossing to different species. So maybe if you were to bring in those different iridophores from the different species, that possibility, you know, that is a possibility. Never outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be metallic though, don't you? It's still going to have the masking to it and everything. Because I have some metallic greens here that are very green, but they're metallic and they're actually from like multicolor. So they're going to end up throwing multicolors anyway, but.
Yeah, I haven't seen like the grass or forest rather non-iridescent green that people say used to be here, you know? I really wish that photography was better back then.
Yeah.
So that you could remember. I mean, we're spoiled nowadays. Like we have video and high quality pictures just in our pockets all the time. It's like, it's hard to remember, you know, that there was life before it, honestly. So, oh, creative pet keeping is going to be at the aquatic experience. Awesome. I can't go. If it was the weekend after, then I could have gone. But it's like the weekend before the week of, what is that holiday? Veterans Day. And I just know it's going to be insane at school. Like I just, if I wasn't a first year teacher. So, let's see. I lost my place in the chat. Oh my goodness, a super chat. Thank you so much, Kim Sotis Aurelius. Oh my goodness. That, I don't know how long ago you put in the super chat. I'm really sorry, but I've seen it now. Thank you so much. Towards the next betta. Yes, towards the next betta. I don't know when I'm going to be buying another betta after this whole Mac experience.
I just bought some today, so I'm hopeless. And I got some in from Thailand today too, so I'm horrible. I went to Petco and saw a cute koi, and I was like, all right, you have to come home with me.
You have the best luck with Petco bettas. I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know if I just have good Petcos or if I just have been looking at fish so long I just know how to pick them, even if they're not flaring. But
I look and I don't see them. And then you come home with perfect butterflies from the local Petco. Just like, how? Let's see. Low Drop Media, best forum for betta genetics and tips. I'm going to say Bettas for All is a great forum. It has years and years of information on there. It is Youp's baby. So Bettas for All is a great forum. I think it has largely migrated over to Facebook groups, which is a shame because like a lot of forums are just a wealth of of information, you know. So that's a really good forum. And then the International Betta Congress has they technically have a forum, right, Jackie? Like, yeah, technically. But yeah. I'm gonna say that the technical library of articles it's worth being a member just for that. Like, have you sat down and read all those things? I think when I first joined, I was reading for days. And I'm still
I've read the whole library at least once.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember any of it, but I've read it.
Mm-hmm. There is so much information in that library. So IBC, you have to be a member, but you get like this amazing technical library. of articles that are like archived, written by experts through the years. Really amazing resource. And then you have the Bettas for All forum, which has accumulated years of data as well. And Youp is still really active on there. So Dwayne's saying I got to teach my kids about Tesla. Tesla's awesome. They will be hearing about Tesla. So he's done a lot of amazing things. Let's see. I don't know. I get lost in this chat.
Yeah, mine's just, I'm just letting it sit at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. But then we don't get to them because, or I mean, I don't get to them because I tend to wax philosophical about things. So.
What do you guys think about placats coming from Indonesia? I don't have any problem with that. A lot of the Indonesian fish look really nice. They've really stepped up their game in the last like 3 or 4 or 5 years. I've been in this long enough that I can be like, back in my day, you only got bettas from Thailand. But
when did you get into bettas, Jackie?
2005 or 6.
Nice.
I started keeping them. So I didn't start breeding till about like 2009, but I've been keeping them since then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't have any problem. I will say that just from weird personal experience, I have had a hard time breeding Indonesian bettas. I don't know if it's like the water they're raised in and they just can't handle mine. I don't have as much of a problem with Thai fish. So I tend to buy Thai fish, but there's some great Indonesian breeders breeding some really nice stuff.
I mean, Hermanus is like, I got a pair of Betta Bertigala from him and they bred like rabbits. Like,
I tried to get them when you sold them. I'm still sad about that. I got outbid at the convention.
I remember that. Oh my goodness. Dude, oh my gosh. I love that pair. Like, so what happened? Hermanus sent some fish to the show. And I was like, I'm not going to get them. I'm not going to get them. They're too expensive. I'm not going to get them. They started spawning in their container during the auction. And I was, or right before the auction rather, like we're judging the fish and all that. And I look over and they're spawning. Of course they got first place in the wilds class. And of course I had to bring them home. Like, you know, oh my goodness. Sometimes you just can't say no, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I saw a question way up there and forgot. Someone asked if I have any patodi females. I don't. I lost my breeder female. I think the male killed her or something. So I have one male and one I'm pretty sure is a male, and everybody else was looking male, so they're all gone. Oh, so man. No. I'm trying to find a patodi female, but I don't know the location data or anything from my pair because I got them for $5 at a local fish auction because nobody knew what they were. So I don't want to get someone's like really pure strain and mix it into mine and like ruin everything. So I might just let that line just go, let those males just be pets. Yeah. And then get new ones that I can, you know, be a little bit more, what's the word? It's not professional. I can't think of it. It's getting late. But, you know, keep the location data so I can know, you know, this line is from this spot and they're pure and all that stuff.
They were really colorful though. Like that particular one, right?
Yeah, they were really pretty.
Yeah, that's another hardship that is often unexpected and just like goes chink and like can stop everything. You get all males or you get all females, and then something happens, and then you don't have pairs anymore. Like I had to stop the Bivitatum fungi, like some killifish, because all male, you know. The last 2 or 3 hatches of my Ijebu Odi, all male. Like it is the most frustrating thing when you get all of one sex. And then we can get into like what causes, you know, differing sex ratios and all that. It's a whole mess. But, you know, that sucks whenever you have all of one sex because you need 2 to tango, you know. It'll stop everything. Okay. I saw some cool stuff, but again, I'm like, I don't know what it is, if I'm just like tired or, you know. Let's see. Kyle, they did not allow judges to swoop in and buy them. I paid an awful lot for them in the auction. That seems to be my thing. I don't do well in fish auctions. I tend to like not panic. I won't, not panic, but you know, I get excited in fish auctions. Yuma's asking, what do I teach? I teach high school biology and actually marine biology, but I'm only teaching that for a year. So yeah, Jackie, you know any marine biologists in the Bay Area?
No.
Oh my gosh, I need to do more homework in that class. So I'm going to try and get more marine biologists in. But let's see. Keep it going. Tesla loved his pigeon. He did love his pigeon. So Kent Water, 6 months ago, I hadn't imported anything. Now I've imported at least 5 times. It is addicting. Like imported bettas are pretty addicting. I think I've imported twice, and yeah, it's addicting. The best is whenever CVS does a group import. Actually, no, I've imported more than that. I think 3 or 4 times now, if you count the group imports, because what happens is all of our orders are combined. So California Betta Society, we all get on this spreadsheet. Stephanie always organizes it because she's so organized. She's awesome. But we get a spreadsheet with all the fish and who's buying it. And then all of the sellers over in Thailand and Indonesia, they package all their fish together and send it in one box to San Francisco International Airport. And then, so we don't pay any fees, like any additional postal fees. We meet the transshipper at the airport, and it's awesome. Have you ever met a transshipper at the airport, Jackie? Like,
no, there's no transshippers around me. The closest, when I was in Georgia, Jennifer, I don't know if you remember her, Jennifer Vivieros.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I went to her house to pick up fish, but I wasn't in it enough to ask to go pick up her shipment. I wish I'd been able to before she quit, because that would have been fun. But there's no shippers in my area now, so I have to pay shipping, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can go, it's hilarious because you got a bunch of like, it's sketchy as all get out because you're like in San Francisco. You're like underneath kind of this overpass, and it's like super sketchy because all of us are like sitting outside of arrival, like cargo, okay, like by the side of a highway. And it's just like we're all just sitting there kind of tailgating because you never know how long it's going to take to clear customs. And so we're all just like, we look like drug dealers is basically what I'm trying to say. We look like drug dealers next to the highway waiting for the fish to arrive. And it's hilarious because like we're out there, it's a bunch of betta people, and then there's always flower horn people and usually discus people too, mainly flower horn people. And we're just like hanging out in our cars or sitting in the backs of the cars, drinking non-alcoholic drinks, but usually we're drinking. And just waiting. So, oh my gosh. The hobby has made me do some pretty strange things. Like, I think one of my favorite pictures is a bunch of us just like got together to hang out. And then every time we see each other, like at CVS, we always like are trading tons of stuff, like worm cultures or whatever. We're always like trading stuff. And like we were trading stuff in the trunk of a car, like in a blacked out parking lot. And there was like cash passing hands, you know, someone was using their cell phone as a light. Oh my goodness. It looked sketchy, but it was cute. Let's see. Half of the things we have in our homes are imported from China. That's true too. Let's see. You should spawn some bettas at your school and say it's a school project so you get paid from the school. Not that it's about the money. Yeah, I really do want to set up a genetics program and have bettas in the classroom. That's my ultimate goal. I won't get money from the school for it because that's just not how it works here. But yeah, any money would of course go back to the classroom. So create a pet keeping. Some girls like to buy shoes. I want Bettas. It's true, right? Like some of my friends buy handbags and heels, and I just buy fish stuff. Would you say that's true too, Jackie?
Oh yeah, any like money I get, it's like, oh, I can get this filter, or I can get new lights, or it's never like, oh, I should get, you know, a new purse. I haven't bought a new purse in 10 years or something like that. Like, it's to the point now that my family will not get me fish stuff for presents. I'm like, I just want, you know, give me a gift card to Doctors Foster and Smith. They're like, no. You need to go somewhere else.
Awesome. Oh my goodness. Elemental gaming. Yay, let all the kids see fish having sex. I mean, it's true. It's riveting. It's fascinating. It's engaging. It's motivating. Of course I'm going to let them see the fish have sex. And I mean, it's perfect for biology. Like, really. See. Same. You don't need groceries. Just eat your fish and shrimp. Can you imagine eating like tiny freshwater shrimp? Like,
I can't imagine they taste very good.
That would be like, I don't even know what that would be like. It'd be like, you need hundreds of, you'd have to go to like Flip Aquatics and raid their thing. That would be awful. Like, but raid one of their cherry shrimp tanks and try eating them. Bettas have a classy way of mating. It is. They, you know, it's very romantic in a way.
When they get down to it. Before then, it can be pretty nasty.
Yeah, before then, it's a little confusing. Mackenzie motivating? It is. Anything, you know what? I know that it's a good lesson when kids Snapchat it. That is my barometer now. Like, that's how I know if I'm teaching a good lesson, if kids Snapchat what's going on in class and like put it on social media. You know, I do not have many Snapchat moments, unfortunately, but I've had several and it's perfect. Like, that's how you know something is getting in. Ashley is saying, Jackie, your family doesn't want to enable you.
They say that, but they drive up to help out with the shows and everything. So they're like, they don't want to enable me, but they're behind me like 150%. My dad actually bought a little hammer for me as a gift. So
a hammer? Like,
no, hammer, the flower horn. Yeah.
I was like, how does a hammer work?
Yeah, so they support me and they don't enable me at the same time.
Yeah. It's important to have support. Like, if my boyfriend wasn't taking care of my fish right now, like I don't know what I would have done. Like, for the summer, like I probably would have tried to rehome almost all of my fish in order to do this, because I think this was a very valuable experience as well. But the fact that he stepped up to the plate and learned how to feed all my fish, which, by the way, to him, all the fish look the same. Like, it's like the kind of, you know, now he can tell the red fish apart from the giant. He can tell the little red betta rubra apart from the big blue betta palafina. But for a long time, he couldn't tell the difference. But, you know, if he hadn't stepped up to the plate and taken care of him over the week, I don't know what I would have done. So it's important to have that kind of support, even if they might not completely understand the whole fish thing. And I think all of us here in the chat, dude, if you're listening to us talk about fish at 9:51 p.m. PST, God knows what time it is on the Eastern Seaboard.
The sun will be shining over here pretty soon, probably.
You know you're a fish nerd if you're here. So we're very glad you're here. So thank you guys for being here. Actually, on that note, it is pretty late for a lot of people. So Jackie, did you wanna wrap it up? People are saying it's 12:52, it's midnight, it's 9:52. Yeah, I think most of the people in here are in this area. It's only 11:51 at Ashley's. That's nice. Hashtag fish nerds. That would be a really good hashtag. Do we get special stickers or buttons? Sorry, I don't have the coordination to do giveaways on this channel. You know, everyone does like giveaways and stuff. I just don't got the time. I wish I could. I love listening to fish talk. Yeah, dude, someone live stream, please, because I got lots of time to go. I know, Jackie, you're probably heading off, maybe. Or are you going to do water changes at midnight?
No, I was good. I did them early today.
Nice. You're not like cursing while doing water changes at 1 in the morning?
No.
Yeah, I wish I had water changes to do. I didn't know how painful it was going to be to live in a place without anything living in it. Like, I have one pepper plant. That's it. You know? So people are saying, love listening to you guys. Low draw media. So how I made the metallic crown tails, they were already partially made when I brought them back from Germany. You can look all of that up on the website though. So if you go to Inglorious Bettas, go to the crown tail picots, it's all the information is there. So, but anyway, should we wrap this up, Jackie? It's getting close.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll still be up until at least 2 or 3, but I think we'll lose all
like wind down, you know, like, yeah, good to wind down. So
yeah. Oh,
all
Mackenzie, right. I sent Mackenzie a girl. She said she's doing good. I'm glad. That was one of my hold back females from my placat spawn. I sent to her.
Ooh, you gave up a holdback? That's tough to do.
Well, she sent me the painting. I would have probably given her hammer. I was so touched by that. So,
oh, that's wonderful, Mackenzie. Thank you. That's amazing.
Thank you.
It looks really nice back there. The painting.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got it with my other fish.
That's wonderful. See, that's why this community is awesome. So even if you do run into trouble, like we started this live stream off talking about hardships, the aquarium community is amazing. Like, you know, we're all here for each other. So it's would you agree, Jackie? Like,
oh yeah, it's like a big family. That's why conventions are so fun, because it's like family reunion time.
Yeah, it's like a deep bond. As soon as you find out someone's a fish person, it's like insta bond. It's like it's pretty fantastic. So, oh my goodness, Corey was here lurking. Boren, Boren, we need to hang out. I'm sorry I missed the picnic. Ironic that I was staring at fish during the CBS picnic. I couldn't go to it, but because I had to work. But thanks everyone for coming. This was awesome. Love having all you guys here talking about a sometimes difficult topic. So anyway, so Mackenzie's, are we all going to Mexico next year? I am planning on it. Unless
I'm gonna try.
Unless a giant, I don't know, a huge opportunity drops out of the sky, and it could. I mean, I'm not, you know, but I am definitely planning on it. Jackie, you got to go. I will translate for you.
I know a little bit of Spanish, but
yeah.
I just, as long as I get a margarita in Mexico, I'll go. That's why I want to go.
I am planning on it. I am planning on going to the IBC convention in Mexico because I'm ready to practice my Spanish. I am ready to get out there and see everyone. So, okay, everyone saying good night. Thanks everyone for being here. It was wonderful. I think we'll just wrap up the stream. So thanks everyone for being here.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.